Hey, welcome back. I finally found my GoPro. I'm recording with you, and I can't talk right now because I've just been at work all day, but whatever. Hey, here's what we got going on. Alright, so we've done everything imaginable to get nothing done. And we're going to take off some lower radiator hoses real quick. So here's the deal. I haven't worked on this thing nearly as hard as I wanted to. I need to get some stuff done. The lower radiator hose got to come off, and the transmission cooler line's got to come off. The radiator's got to come out so I can get access behind the water pump. The water pump's also got to come out. I'm probably going to take off all the accessories just to make room to work. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I might have to pull the whole engine. I'm not really excited about it, but I should have taken that engine over there that's under the tarp to the machine shop a long time ago and had the work done on it. That way I could just swap the heads over and the intake over and the oil pan over and put it in here and had a new engine basically. And then taken this one out and had it rebuilt while it's still good. So we're just gonna dive into it. Let's go. All right, we're gonna get in here. These Harbor Freight gloves are pretty legit. I must say, they seem to work pretty good. I don't like them too sloppy. I don't like them too tight. These ones are all right. So I got a lower radiator hose to get off down here. Right in the mouth, this is great. There's a one. Here's a two. There should be the same size branch. Oh, there's more. Yep, of course it's going to leak transmission fluid. So I put the engine, or the radiator, up like this. In here and here is a bunch of transmission fluid that I don't want to leak out. I want to keep it all in there if possible. That way when I put it back in there, I don't have to worry about topping off the transmission fluid. It's not going to be empty. I spilled just a little bit. And I'm cheap and I don't want to buy more. Hey, did you come out here to help me in the truck? Bud? What'd you happen to your cheek, bud? You getting a fight? You be wrestling with somebody? What? Hey, look at the camera, bud. Can you say hi? Look, you can see things through it. Now we see you. Roar! Roar! The thing I hate about this truck is that half the nuts and bolts on here are metric and standard because this is a 93 and I use the accessory drive kit from the 93 4.3. And that's all metric, but basically everything behind it is standard, so it makes it a pain in the ass. I'm just pulling off a pulley here so I can get to the bolts, get this out of my way, and that way I can clear it enough to pull the water pump. The biggest thing is keeping everything organized. And I gotta remember where they're at. Yep, there's one. That's nice loose now. The nice thing is once I get this thing all put back together and the new timing set on it, I can start it without all this accessories on it. And run it for a few minutes to see if it makes any noise or not. If it does, then I'm already a third of the way there, pulling everything apart. Dropping everything now. What? There's always something that fights me. Always. So now the bottom of that bracket's hitting the water pump. How did I put it on last time? That was a threaded stud. Well, we need to modify this thing so it's easier to get off. Wires and getting smashed and everything. Good thing I got them little sockets where they're at. Alright, we got that part off. Now you can see the water pump's gotten all rusty. No big deal, but it's 4 9/16 bolts and that's out of there. And then we got to take off the crank pulley and we got to take off the dampener, which that might be a pain in the ass. I wonder if I still have that pulley. I'm trying to remember if I rented it or if I bought it. I think I rented it. I think this time I buy one. You know, I heard some people paint the inside of their water pumps. I've never done it, and I don't think I ever will, because I don't want paint going through my water pump or my engine block. But we're on the water pump now. There's one. There we go. I need one of those Milwaukee electric ratchets to help speed the process up. I should have done the trick where you flip the air cleaner lid so it holds everything better. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Leave that one on because it's easy to get off. You know, hoodie pockets are just amazing. There's two. Try to put that sealant on. And it should just pop right off. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. There she goes. Alright. No, don't leak all over the floor. Oh, this thing looks nasty. That's a brand new water pump too. Alright, now we're on the harder part. So when I rotate this, it can turn that much, and you don't see the distributor turning. I don't know if you can see that on camera or not. Let me clean my hands, get you a better angle. So, here's an angle of the crank pulley. I can turn it this much, and it sounds like it's coming from right behind there. So we got to pull that off, pull all the bolts around it. There's my Amazon cheapo timing tab that I do not like, but it does work. So yeah, you know, there ain't much to doing a small block Chevy swap in a V8 or in a S10. If you use the 4.3 accessories, just make sure you get a reverse direction water pump, because if you don't, it'll pump coolant the wrong way through. It's the way the belt routing is. So it's different than the standard small block Chevy. But we're going to finish up. Hopefully we can get this pulley off no problem. I think it's probably 9/16. And there's 3 of them. Ah! Oh, got it. One more. Let's break it loose. You gotta give it a good because it's already spinning the crank, one or the other. I ought to put this thing up on blocks so I'm not bent over so far. So what I need is another 290 subscribers so I can start making some money from YouTube so I can upgrade the shop with the lift. So if you haven't yet, subscribe. It's appreciated. There we go. That's my crank pulley bolt right there. That's a non-factory size because I had to drill it out and retap it. So I went down and got my pullers because I can't find mine. I know I own them. Who knows? It is what it is. That's what I did to my tripod. Oh well. It is what it is. But I'm going to get the puller out, get going on taking out the dampener or the balancer. And then after the balancer's out, I should be in business to take the timing cover off and actually see what the hell's going on in there. So I just remembered that I'm not going to be able to take the timing cover off until I drop the oil pan. So that's great. More work. And it's a pain in the butt to drop the oil pan on this truck. I've done it once before and it doesn't. It's just not good. Well, painted the crank S10s in the air. Rest it on jack stands. I'm gonna call it a night, because I probably got to get up at 2:30 and be to work at 3:30, because it's looking like we're gonna have some snow in the forecast. So we'll pick this up tomorrow. So since we don't know exactly what's wrong with this engine, I'm gonna drain the oil in it, and when I do that, I'm gonna catch some in a paper towel. Let me show you. So I got a paper towel sit up right there in the old catch pan. I'm gonna try to have the oil come down, hit this, run off this into the pan. When it's all done, we'll see. And I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed, hoping that there's no metal on the paper towel. So that 2050 motor oil that I run in this thing, it's gonna take a long time for it to drain. So I'm gonna get started on it now, go in, have breakfast. Maybe by the time I get back out here, it'll be drained. And if you really couldn't tell, it's actually like 17 degrees outside. So all this insulation, all this work that I did in the garage is paying dividends right now. It's actually giving me a halfway decent warm place to work. So we got the oil draining now, and it's all coming down and hitting that paper towel. And the idea is that the metal is gonna flake off and get caught in the paper towel, hopefully. Can't really tell in here yet. I mean, I can see paper towel through the oil, but it's got some kind of weird color. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. And the last little bit coming out, it's looking kind of sludgy. Look at that. Huh, we'll know in a minute. So we got the timing cover off. Actually ended up tearing the gaskets here and here on both sides. But let's look at this dog bone. I don't even know if I got it in there correctly, to be honest. But if you zoom in right here, let me get the camera nice and deep down in there. Maybe you can see that crack right there. That's horrible. Not to mention, watch this. So, I'm pretty sure the crack's not supposed to be there. This thing used to make a whine, and you could hear it, it almost sounded like a blower, and at some point, it stopped doing that. So, I wonder if that crack is what's causing it, or took the whine away, and is causing that knock. And I think that clock, clock, clock noise that we were hearing was the right side gear just going dunk, 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 and there and making noise. So, Super Steve, you were right again, hopefully. Let's just make sure that the top of the cam bearing isn't all ovalized or egg-shaped or anyway, because that could be a great big problem too. That caused the motor to have to come out. It also could be the cause of low oil pressure while running, so who knows. $50 blocks, if you're gonna do it, I've learned my lesson. You got to check them over really, really good. And I'm not a professional. I'm just a guy in my house doing this for fun because I like cars and going fast. If you're wondering what I'm doing here, all I'm doing is turning it around so that way it's top dead center, cylinder number 1. And when I go to put the new double roller timing chain setup on it, everything should be lined up, good to go. I don't want to get it all messed up. And I can hear the engine making compressions. Almost there now. And if you're wondering, I put my dampener back on because I don't trust my crank sprocket bolt to turn it over by. You can strip them out really easily doing that. I've already had to drill and tap this one once, so I don't know how well my at-home tapping is, considering it was really stiff when I did it. So, or hard to make the threads, and I would turn it in a half a turn, it would bind up. I'd back it out 3 turns, blow it out, and go back into it until I was satisfied. So I put the dampener back on, and I'm using the 3 bolt holes in the front of it to turn it with a big pry bar. And it should be just about lined up now. I just had to do 1 rotation. Yeah, I can see the dot down there. Yep, that's down. And the keyway marks are in the right orientation, so that's good. And actually, I'm looking down here, the camera will never pick it up, but I'm seeing tiny little flakes of metal on it. And that crack looks pretty good from here. I wonder if that crack is going to stay in there if I back it off ever so slightly. Yeah, you'll still be able to see the crack in there. So let me get this thing pulled apart and you can see the crack. Come on. Okay, it's out. Let's take a look at it. So hopefully the camera can pick up that crack right there. But there's a crack right there. And it's got some slop in and out, which I'm not too worried about the slop. But it's very plausible what could have happened to the motor. Alright, so we're back out in the shop. It's been a couple days. Work life got hectic, but here's the old timing gear. I don't know what brand this is, but it cracked out. I'm trying to get this in the right light so you can see it. But it cracked all the way through and through. So apparently, after a lot of research, some people are saying that it went in like this. Well, that part would actually be to the back, but I don't see how it could have. Well, I guess it could have, but it was supposed to go in like that, and I didn't have it in correct. I had it in like this, and so it was allowing it to do all sorts of funky things, and this part was able to move up and down. Hopefully I got that on camera somewhere. Now we're going to jam this thing back together, and hopefully it doesn't have any more noise. This truck gets nothing but the best. Nothing but Valvoline 20W50. And the reason why it gets this, it's full of all those zinc additives and everything else. Not to mention when you're showing 10 psi of oil pressure, this heavier weight, bump it up 5 or 7 psi. So always run the VR1 in your race engines. That's what happens when they sit for too long. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing fired up and see if it's got the clanking noise in it still. Hope to God it doesn't. Engine temperature's a little hot, so I'm going to shut her down. But she was making good oil pressure. And I got to finish topping it off with coolant. So I'm happy. All in all, I'm going to call this a wrap. Note to yourself, make sure that if you're going to use a geared timing set, put it in there correctly, and don't use one that somebody else has already ran. So I learned the hard way. But at least it's back together. It sounds fairly healthy. I think I got some valves that needed adjusted. And I heard the other day that aluminum grows by like 0.9 or 9/100ths of an inch. 9/100ths of an inch. So if you take that off the cold lash setting, these are 0.22 lash setting for these valves. I want to take that down to like 0.16 would be right for cold. That way when it heats up, it's at 0.22 where it's supposed to be in spec. But yeah, we're going to call that a wrap. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. And thank you. Really appreciate everybody that subscribed and watches my dumb ass here on YouTube. We'll catch you next time.